Welcome here to Sydney Olympic Park. It's grand final week in the Sydney Masters Hockey Association, and we have the first 2 of 4 for you. I'm Lachlan Morley, joined by Mark Matheson. Matho, good to have you along.
Nice to be here, Lockie. Promising looking match ahead of us.
Yes, of course. First up, it's the Premier Masters grade grand final. It's second place on the ladder, Ride Hunters Hill, taking on 4th place, Briars.
Yeah, and if you look at the lineups they have out there, we're in for a cracker match. So both teams are blessed by New South Wales and Australian Masters representatives.
Yeah, certainly both sides are flush with some awesome hockey talent in the Masters division.
If you look at the Briars team, I can see about 4 or 5 of the New South Wales 40s and a couple of the 45s. So there's a great quality, and the same looking at the right side.
Yeah, certainly, and these two teams had very different paths here. Ride Hunters Hill led the ladder from round 1 all the way through to the end, where they dropped top spot to Manly GNS. Ride having a bye that particular round. Briars have played in fits and starts, but have come good at the right end, and head-to-head this season. Ride 7 goals to 1 in round 1, and then 4 goals to 1 a little later. So I guess from that perspective, Ride at start favourites, but Briars have a habit of just pinching goals and making life difficult, particularly as underdogs in finals. They did it in the prelim to get here. They scored 2 goals early against Manly GNS, against most predictions, and here they are in the grand final. Briars, of course, shooting for 3 in 4 years, having gone back-to-back in 2022 and 2023. Ride Hunters Hill, well, they lost this match last season to Barbarians in a thriller, which went to a shootout. And they're going for their first Premier Masters premiership since the 2014 season.
Yeah, there's been a bit of a drought for Ride. They've been there or thereabouts for a lot of those years, but just haven't been able to get it across the line. As you say, Briars, 2022 and 2023, I seem to recall they were shootouts as well. But they do have a habit of winning the big one.
Yeah, they certainly do when you give them a sniff. Of course, given it is grand final week, there's a little bit more time out on the ground for each side to warm up. Basically had a good 15 minutes out there. Normally it's a quick 5 just for a bit of a hidden trap, and you're underway in the game. Of course, the format here, it's 2 30-minute halves, 5-minute break.
And I'm sure both teams will be hoping that for the first time in about 4 years, it doesn't go to a shootout. It's finished in regulation. Looking at the warm-up there, I see there's one player for Briars that isn't kitted up, that I'm sure they would hope would be, and that's Adam Bannister. He is normally a threat in their midfield, and unfortunately isn't able to play tonight.
Well, at the other end of the ground, one of the interesting little story arcs is a member of that 2022 and 2023 back-to-back Briars side, Lee Brady, slotted the winner in the shootout in that 2023 grand final, but he is now at the other end and wearing the black and white shirt. So, yeah, going for the big one against some of his former teammates.
Yep, and obviously in the Briars goal, Andrew Borg is his brother-in-law. So there will be some, I suspect they'll both be trying to get Christmas dinner bragging rights out of this. I mean, looking at the Briars lineup as they're warming up, you look at the players to watch. For me, Andrew Borg in goal already looks like he got his eye in, and I mean you'll have then Alan Charlton sitting just in front of him to control the central defence. And then you move into their midfield. And you're looking at, you know, Chris Coombs and Paul Newton, both quality midfielders. And up front, Darren Alsop. He'll be a threat up front for them, and I'm sure we'll be looking to bag a few in that score.
Well, he did nab one of their two last week, so he's certainly in good form running into this match.
Yeah, that's to be expected, and I'm pleased to hear it. He's with me in Newcastle, representing New South Wales, so I'm pleased to hear he's got some in form.
Yeah, it's come around quickly, isn't it? Quite a few players across both of these sides will be heading to the National Championships in Newcastle. And should we take a look at the Ride Hunters Hill lineup, just with 4 minutes to go before the start of this match?
Yeah, players to watch there. Their game, I'm sure, will revolve around Alex Jones. And their midfield, you'll have Anthony Caton alongside him, and Jimmy Maltman as well. They're all three a strong midfield combination. Up front, as you've already said, you've got Lee Brady and Billy Shaw, who's led the competition as the top goal scorer. So they're obviously a massive threat for Ride up front.
Yeah, interesting little experiment from Ride Hunters Hill, running Billy Shaw in the striker position. Sort of made his name in defence and as a midfielder across Sydney Premier League 1. And after a season off, has returned to Tuesday night hockey, answering the captain Jimmy Maltman's call. First, I reckon he thought, what have I signed up for? But looks to be enjoying his hockey. Bagged several drag flicks on short corners in the prelim against Barbarians to get here.
Yep.
And look, in truth, without him a fortnight ago, they probably would not have gotten over the line.
And I mean, obviously with drag flicks, Ride's also got Alex Jones, who's a phenomenal drag flick weapon as well. So I imagine Briars wouldn't be keen to concede too many penalty corners.
No, and Ride have run with the double battery on short corners on occasion this season, but I don't know if they've ever had Shaw and Jones together when they've done it. So yeah, it could very much be a lethal 1-2 for them. Well, just 2 minutes till we're underway. Just a word for our officials. It's umpires David Coles and Rob Sutton with the whistle, and it's Mark Vergerhoff, the technical official for this game this evening.
Yeah, good to see Colesy and Robbie out there. They've been stalwarts of Sydney Masters hockey for many years, and great to see them blowing the whistle in the grand final.
Well, not long till we're underway here. Both sides just finishing up their warm-ups and moving in towards the halfway.
Great to see a number of the family friends down in the stand watching and supporting their dad and husband and club mates.
Yeah, certainly. It's not something you see often mid-season on a Tuesday or Wednesday night, and we can all understand why. But yep, special effort made for the grand final.
Yeah, absolutely, and I'm pleased to say that the weather's turned it on for us. It's quite a pleasant evening. Should be ideal conditions for the guys out there playing.
Yeah, certainly turning the corner towards summer, and we deserve it, if we're honest.
Yeah, there's no question. It's been a cool winter. Captain's handshake's done. Looks like they're forming up, and they'll be underway shortly.
Well, if you are tuned in to the stream at home, feel free to, in fact, we encourage you to send the link to all your friends and family and circulate it around your clubs. We'd love to have as many eyeballs on this game as possible. And definitely leave us a comment. Tell us who you're supporting. Give us your tip, give us your prediction. Who do you think's going to win? Who do you think will bag the goals? And if you like how we're going, please say so. If you don't, well, keep it to yourself.
Yeah, look, I've seen a number of people, players and supporters sharing the link over the last week or so. So there's a lot of interest in this. I had contact with a couple of Queenslanders this afternoon who said they wanted the link and because they wanted to join in. So I hope they'll be watching and enjoying the match with the rest of us.
It's just a bit of pre-game pageantry. Looks like Mark Wegerhoff has taken that photo on his iPhone. Hope he had it set to wide lens. Is that
Then he's got to just jump into his TO role and make sure there's only 11 aside on the field. And we're ready to go.
Well, we have 30 minutes on the clock and we're underway in this first half. Right Hunters Hill with the ball first. Running left to right in the black and white stripes, and Briars in the gold and maroon, right to left. Just a bit of an early touch finder from Alex Jones out of the back. Just causing a bit of early fatigue, just a bit of vaulting the fence there for Nick Candido. He'll be very important to Briar's progress if they're to win today. Just sort of working up and down the flanks from right half all the way through to the striker position on occasion. He's nabbed a few goals this season doing that. Paul Newton long. Mistrap from Retford, and Allsop has his skates on. Heads over the baseline.
Yeah, I think Darren's pace could cause some problems for the Ryde defence if he can get in that pocket, left-hand pocket.
Evan Moore on it for Ryde. Wanted the transfer, but it's cut off. Nice little ball through to James Maltman. Retford overlapping, has a bit of room. Sam Griffith, missed trap. Burke, first touch, straight over the sideline. Retford just drifting forward. Wilson Jones, risky, cut off by Candido, but it's a missed trap. Moore played that smartly. First season in Masters Division for him.
Yeah, that's the second errant pass from Alex Jones. He might be happy with the overhead and that piece of distribution.
Captain Durant's just a bit of a hit through the traffic. But he's got a bit of yardage for his side. Durant's left, then right. Back again. Plays it smartly in the end. Charlton. And it's Coombs. 45, Newton with the deflection. But in the way is Retford. Did well to play that from in front. Jones again. Clever. Wilson Jones. Bit of room if he wants to move. Has Alistair Oakes wide, but goes on the 45 to Shaw. Shaw versus Charlton towards the circle. And on the reverse. Saved by Borg. And first short corner of the match to Ryde Hunters Hill. First shot fired.
Yeah, that was a great passage of play by Ryde, working that up with, as you say, a tomahawk from Billy Shaw. Andrew Borg had to make a good save, but just couldn't clear it. So, what battery do they go with here?
I can't see them not going to Shaw. Well, they definitely are. They're only setting up one.
They've only got one set up, yep. Although with Jones to the left, possibility of a little slip left to Alex Jones is also on the cards, I think.
There might have been one game this year where Shaw actually netted 4. So, yeah, certainly a bit of a weapon and basically a luxury in this competition. It's that option. High crossbar.
Oh, crossbar. Yep. Hands on the head. A resounding thud of a crossbar. I'm not sure Andrew Borg knew much about that.
Pretty lucky though for it to go over the sideline in that position rather than backline as well.
I mean, it could have bounced straight back into the path of a striker for a rebound, but something.
Yeah, it must have gone the post or something to go at that angle.
Bryce must have got very lucky there, I think. But in this kind of match, you'll take that kind of luck.
Maltman, self-hit. Sort of starting in an AM position rather than his preferred halfback. Bryce with just 3 behind the ball at the moment. All the way out to Charlton. Griffith and Shaw cutting off the transfer. Short to Newton. Shares it back to Charlton. going anywhere, but it's popped through. Turnover, Maltman, Shaw, reverse. Does that bizarre 360 that he pulls off so often. And it's Oakes who opens the scoring for Right Hunters Hill. Had no angle to work with, but found a gap anyway.
That was some beautiful lead-up work from Billy Shaw.
Yep.
Beat the defence and then slide along the baseline, deliver a great ball for Oakes to deflect it in up above Andrew Borg.
Yeah, very early for the razzle-dazzle, but we're all here for it. If any player wants to put on a bit of a show, and Alistair Oakes, long-time Right Hunters Hill representative, makes it 1-0 over Briars in this Premier Masters Grand Final. Bit of contact, and it's out to Burke, up the flank. Candido, Alsop I should say, reaches.
Just couldn't quite get it on a foot. Oh.
Coombs on the long for Briars. Back is his only option. Stout. All the way over and out to Burke. Wilson gets front position over Candido. It's with Maltman now. Overhead to Warren Oakes. Shaw. It's 3-on-4. Slips it to Griffith. Oh, and just sort of two teammates split them both.
Yep, just couldn't find one.
Newton, Alsop, Coombs. Bit of support on the way. But he's pressured by Warren Oakes. Played it well, but Coombs has it back. Long. Mistrap from Moore. Wilson Jones. Oh, thought he might have been just inside the circle, but no. Ruling is outside.
I thought he might have got a penalty corner for that, for the defender being within the 5, and he trapped it.
Wilson, wide. Brady steps forward and repels all the way back out to Wilson. Goes back that way again, and Brady snaffles it. Played it well. Yeah, I reckon he heard the whistle. One of those players who just needs a bit of an argument to fire himself up on occasion.
Oof. Yeah, that overhead was never going to be reached. Jimmy's a tall man, but not that tall.
Probably one of the few occasions Maltman will turn to Jones and say, "What were you thinking?" Usually the other way around.
One thing, Ride, I see us doing very well is they are stepping up to the ball, and that's cutting off a lot of Briar's options as they get into the attacking 25.
Maltman on the reverse, just can't quite pick it up. Durant's again. Option is wide to Wilson. Bit of room to carry, and he does, but just runs into black and white shirts. Mistrap. Suri, first appearance in this match. Gets front position but doesn't control it. It's now with Stout. Clever ball. Wilson read it. Dixon. Dixon v. Wilson. Dixon evades through, and it'll be Suri to clear. Alistair Oakes Further up the flank, but a bit of a miscue. Shaw plays it cleverly. Carries, gets round 3. Can he get round a 4th? He won't try. Controls it. Maltman runs it back where it came from. Toward the circle. Be a Briars free hit just outside the circle. Was that raised ball, Matho?
I think the defender actually played it onto the right foot as he's defended it.
Durance again just sort of going the self-hit, not really able to progress forward. Mistrap from Wilson Jones. It's with Allsop. Can he collect and carry? Can't do it cleanly, but he's won it back now. And looks for the 1-2 heading towards the circle. Just a bit of an almost moment there for Briars, but certainly they look threatening with the ball in Allsop's hands. Or on his stick. Brady, Candido. Bit of a heavy challenge by Candido, but had to be done. Brady just causing a bit of trouble. Onto the foot of Candido, and Shaw will settle it down. Maltman, a lot more gold in the circle than black and white.
Yeah, Briars are putting a lot of players behind the ball at the moment. And with the way Shaw's running at them, I don't blame them.
Wilson Jones. Bessenvale wide and uses him. Bessenvale approaches Candido. All the way out. Wilson Jones, Suri. Nice little post up and spin from Suri. Heads towards the circle. Self-hit from Bessenvale. Shaw. Another spin. He's in. Jones. Decides to go himself. Shaw. Repelled by Borg.
Oh.
And oh, dearie me. Just a bit of a clearing strike from Blake Durance.
And he's worn one friendly fire right in the back.
Yeah, Durance there straight into Wilson. And look, that was... I mean, that could have been much worse than it has been. It obviously got him in the meaty part of the abdomen, so he's okay. He's taking his spot in the defensive corner unit. But yeah, this is Ryde's second penalty corner for the match. First one, drag flick off the crossbar.
Yeah, and they've set up exactly the same, so I'd imagine they'll be looking to go slightly lower with this one.
Shaw again, and it is low, backboard.
And straight in.
Well, as we approach halfway through this first half, it's Ryde Hunters Hill with a 2-0 lead. First one courtesy of Alistair Oates, second courtesy of the Billy Shaw Rocket. And Briars with it all to do early. Durance, Coombs. Coombs versus Catton. Did well to get that one through. But over the sideline.
Yeah, there's no question at the moment that Ryde has all the play. And Briars, as you say, have got a lot of work to do to get themselves back into this match.
Yeah, being quite reliant on streaky one-out play at the other end of the ground, and haven't really matched that with any pressure to keep Ryde up that end when they do get it forward.
No, when they're getting in the circle, they're getting dispossessed, and whereas when Ryde seems to get in the circle, they're controlling the ball and creating opportunities, be they shot at goal or penalty corners.
Jones, Catton, Wilson Jones. Well, looks for the 1-2 for Caton, but Paul Newton says, I'll take that. Carries it right, wants to slip to Allsop, but Alex Jones is in the way. Coombs, quick one. Onto the foot of Jones, I thought. Umpires agree. Coombs, self-hit. Short to Newton. Spins it into the circle. Retford has none of it. Sends it wide.
Yeah, again, highlighting the difference in the Briars attack versus the Ryde attack. Ryde carrying the ball on their stick into the circle, where Briars seem to be relying on trying to get a ball through traffic.
Wilson, the man who wore one just a couple of minutes ago with that ball up the flank. So we'll take his continuation on the field as confirmation is completely fine.
He's a tough character. I've managed him a few times, and he's cranky whistle from Robbie Sutton.
And Jones living dangerously though, just sort of running at 45 back across the face of the circle.
He's a confidence player. He's confident in his game. He will try and run it out, and has a pretty high success rate. But again, a slightly errant pass from him.
Durans. Again, all options cut off, and Coombs has to fold back in. Stout. Challenged by Caton, and Caton, oh, I was going to say, obviously, umpire Sutton seeing it differently. I said Stout, I should have called Dixon just then, I apologise.
Yeah, Ryde looks very comfortable defending back there. Probably just put the mockers on them, but yet again.
And as far as Durance, well, though Shaw snaffles it, and he has Oakes heading toward the circle, but that's a lifted ball. Wasn't too hard, but it does sting on the fingers.
Yeah, when you get your fingers compressed against your stick, that's not a pleasant feeling.
Long from Coombs. Mistrap by Jones, and now Charlton started at the other end, now is in the striker position. Quick clearance by Bessenvale. Just out of reach of Caton, and it's Briars again. Delicate up the flank. Newton's there to receive. Drops through to Jones. Plays it strong, and he'll have the sideline hit. Durant sort of fumbles the trap but controls it. Candido through the centre. Wilson overlapping from the left. We're about 5 minutes from that second Ryde Hunters Hill goal, Matho, but in that period, I think Briars have actually made it even between the 25s. So that, you know, it's a slow climb back into the match sometimes, and you can't just rely on desperation and one-out hockey. You've got to grit and grind on occasion. That's what they're doing.
Yep, they're definitely controlling the ball better and stringing passes together and hitting their own sticks. Although, having said that, they've just been dispossessed, and it comes back again to them. But yeah, Briars looked like they might have settled into a structure that's now working for them. They just need to get it so that they can actually penetrate the Ryde defence in the 25.
Yeah, it's something they've done a few times this season. Mentioned before that Charlton started at the back, but they will throw him forward. He's a bit of a ball magnet, and sometimes, even if the player in question is a natural defender, the player who attracts the ball, you might as well put him where you want it to go, and that's the circle, your attacking circle. Yeah, Maltman to Suri, and Suri back to Maltman, but oh, just a little wide of him. Had to break stride, and no way Jimmy Maltman was gonna reach back for that. I like the idea though.
I think it was a good ball. Had it been just a couple of metres further in front, it would have hit Jimmy on the charge as he was coming up that left flank.
Durrance, Dixon, and back to Durrance. Clever 45. Target was Burke, but it's gotten through to Charlton anyway. Bit of a hit and hope across. Jones to Caton. Griffiths. Clever to Retford. Comes back right. Not a good choice. Burke picks it up. Nice little spin. I think he maybe even surprised himself with that.
I thought it might have actually come up and hit him in the body there.
Matt Gears, that was for Right Hunters Hill, just faking that one over the back line. Clever and cunning player in those circumstances. Jones, Retford. Mostly gold in front of him, but he has Maltman on the 45. Maltman towards the circle. He'll go himself. He'll want the shot. Mistrap by Burke. It'll be long corner, Right Hunters Hill.
That was a nice drive from Jimmy through the centre midfield there. He just couldn't quite find someone on the baseline.
Caden, not his best pass, but no harm done. Jones, Gears, plays that cleverly, heads towards the circle, onto Dixon's foot, quick one, back to Jones. Jones, 45, and oh, off the stick of Brady and then past the stick of Alistair Oakes. I reckon they'll put that one down as a chance gone begging. It was sharp, but the box is wide open.
There was definitely a missed opportunity there. Great lead-up work.
Coombs with it. Overhead. Swing and a miss from Retford, and it's through to Charlton. Circle entry, Bryce. He'll want a result.
He's looking for a foot there on Alan Retford, just couldn't find it.
Floyd, haven't called his name much. In on the 45. Another long corner for Briars. Candido, Durrance, Dixon, mistrap. Gears to Jones. Jones has plenty of room. He likes the crossfield overhead. Okay, it works. Executed nicely. Moore up the flank. Griffiths, mistrap. Burke is in the way. Gets it. Toward Candido. Onto the foot of Maltman. Candido, is he going to get advantage? Well, lucky in the end he didn't.
Played it onto a foot and got the free hit.
Gears cutting that one off. Scott Dixon making that lead. Apologies everyone at home, I keep confusing Dixon and Stout out there. One's wearing 1, one's wearing 19. Well, just about 4 minutes to go in this first half. Ride 2 lead Briars 0 in this Premier Masters Grand Final.
And I think that's a fair reflection of the way this half's gone.
Quick one to Coombs. Griffiths in the way. Moore stepping forward 2, and the pair of them force the ball all the way back to Durrance. Shaw, 1 out on the press. Durrance crosses the 25. Wants the 1-2. Brady's in the way. Circle entry. But again, Ryde have defended it pretty well. Ball near the tee spot. Only option's a self-hit. Newton slings it in. And first shot of the game for Briars. Just past the left post. That was Stuart Turnbull. He did get a good piece of that. Would have been interesting if it was between the posts. But it's as quickly as that's happened, it's up the other end, and Jimmy Maltman's heading towards the circle. He's around. Borg steps forward. Brady. Brady nails Right Hunters Hill's 3rd. And just a bit of conversation actually between the 2 umpires. Yeah, the ruling is actually 16-yard hits.
And I think that's what Andrew Borg was claiming, that there was a foot in the mix there.
Yeah, and I think if you look at the combo of Ryde players who were involved in that play, there's no way they'd be keeping their mouths shut if they didn't agree.
No, I agree totally.
And well done too to Dave Coles, the officiating umpire there, and Rob Sutton disengaged, just communicating and making sure they got that one exactly right. We're very lucky in the Sydney Masters Hockey Association, various leagues, to have umpires of their calibre, and doing a great job tonight as they have all season.
Yeah, it obviously helps that they're mic'd up so they can communicate quickly with each other.
Bessenvale, 45 to Surrey with the shot, and oh, he got a piece of that, but it was wide of the post.
Yeah, Chris put himself in a very good spot there at the top of the circle and was unfortunate not to put that between the posts.
Durrance. Right now. That's with Stout. Got it correct that time. That one from Hallett straight over the sideline. I don't mind a lot of what Rise are trying to do, threading those triangles, but it's always that 3rd pass that they're struggling to execute. They set up the play nicely, but then just fumble a trap or put it wide of the man, and it's just killing the momentum every single time.
Yeah, I mean, Ryde has been able to string together 5, 6 passes moving the ball up the field, where Briars are looking, at 3 passes perhaps. They need to rectify that for the second half.
Well, we'll have 5 minutes to chat about it in about 35 seconds. And, well, given where the ball is, Briars should probably be focusing on a short corner to round out the first half. But as soon as I say that, well, bit of a struggle for the ball. Suri versus Candido. Wow, Suri played that one well. Candido wins it back, though. He's up for a scrap this evening, and he's through. Maltman reaches. Have to take it just outside the circle. Newton wants it quickly.
8 seconds.
Self-hit.
No.
Shaw steps forward, and Shaw will make certain of it. Well, we'll go to the break. Right Hunters Hill 2, Briars 0. Second half is underway in 5 minutes. Join us then. Welcome back here to Sydney Olympic Park for the second half of this Premier Masters Grand Final. It's Ride Hunters Hill 2 leading Briars 0. I'm Lachlan Worley. Mark Matheson has just stepped out of the box for a few minutes, and I'm joined by the President of Sydney Masters Hockey Association, Greg Kay.
Thanks, Lockie. Yeah, welcome everyone to the coverage tonight. Been a fantastic day in Sydney and a great night for Premier League Masters hockey. What have you made of the first half, Lock?
Well, I think the score certainly reflects Ride's dominance. They've just been cleaner and more disciplined in every respect and have been able to build pressure in a way that Briars haven't, perhaps relying on a little bit too much run and gun and then having a bit of a disjointed press.
Yeah, Ride just look like they're in control. A great save from Andrew Borg in the Briars net. Just under a whole heap of pressure, and I think Briars just need to get some of their gun players involved. It's Darren Alsop has hardly touched the ball tonight. He's probably their leading goal scorer, and Chris Coombs has done a lot of work in the midfield, and it's just not working for them. So their key players just need to get their hands on the ball a lot more and put Ride under some pressure. So Ride can't sink back and think they've got this one, because hockey can change very quickly with the speed of the ball, and 2 goals is not a big lead in hockey these days. But let's see what Briars can do. They've got to be next to score, I think, is to give themselves a chance.
Yeah, I thought they held it together nicely after they conceded that second one, and after the 15-minute mark of the first half, it was pretty much even. But you can see it unravelling quickly.
Umpires Coles and Sutton have done a great job so far, so it all looks nice and clean, but I think it's going to get... Briars just have to ramp it up now. Already the second half, they look like they got more purpose, but Ride just looked faster.
Alsop for Briars now. Comes back through the centre, risky to Coombs, and Jones swallows it. Jones playing a little higher this half. Sort of played that centre back position and is now in the midfield. Maltman versus Candido. Maltman wins it. Candido lucky to miss with that tackle effort, and
that's going to be a 2-minute suspension. Yeah, it was a bit of an ugly tackle, but yeah, we've had a great season this year, Lock, with the Premier League, and now just over 600 players.
That was Griffith with the flick shot there. Borg imposing himself, and he's had a bit of a collision on the way through. Nothing in it. Lee Brady hitting the deck a bit hard and a bit ginger getting up. Yeah, you're right. Greg, in Premier League Masters this season, it looked at stages like 5 teams could possibly win it if only they could get a spot in the top 4.
Well, with an extra team this year having 7 teams, the new boys East, with a lot of English players, looked like Wellbees at the start of the year and were leading the comp after the first 3 or 4 rounds. But they seem to fall away towards the end of the season. And Barbarians, who were the premiers last year, had the opposite. They had a really slow start to the year and lost 2 or 3 of their first 4 games, but ended up squeaking into 3rd. But in a great semi-final, they lost to Ride here 6-4. So pretty healthy when we got 7 teams playing just in the top division. And so all looks good. I understand we're likely to have another team next year. So the Sydney Lions have indicated they want to play Premier League next year. So that'll be exciting to make 8 teams.
Shaw through against Borg. Griffith, and is it I think Griffith is appealing for a foot here, wants a short corner. Don't think it could be, well, I don't think it could be a penalty stroke. Yeah, ruled off the stick and long corner.
There's another opportunity for Ride there to back of the stick from Maltman. Ryder just weathering the storm, Lock, which they need to do, but they've got to be next to score.
Ryder just seem to have every angle covered in these situations, and Bryce just can't find a post up through the traffic or anything like that. Even just there as we're looking at it, they have, what, 7 players square or behind the ball. It's going to be difficult in that situation. Allsop versus Bessenvale. Bessenvale had the relieving pass to Wilson Jones.
See Allsop getting more involved in the game now. He's their spark in the midfield, and he can carry the ball forward to score.
Yeah, I think Warren Oakes is just going to have a little sit down for playing that ball on well after the whistle, and fair enough too. It's a dangerous act, and the keeper is entitled to a bit of safety after the whistle.
Yeah, I think Ryde have really set up well to stop Bryce getting out from the back really quickly. They've just got to move the ball quicker, Bryce.
Newton, self-hit, angle ball, Wilson Jones in the way, mistraps it over the baseline, but he'll take that. Coombs, pick up by Allsop, into space, Wilson Jones lunges on the reverse and wins it and clears it. Played that nicely.
Yeah, 2 of their key players, Coombs and Allsop, getting their hands on the ball a lot more now. They've got to drive forward. So Ryde really sinking back, playing fall away, trying to condense the game.
Dixon, bit of a spin, looks for Newton. Heavy challenge from Jones, but Newton wins that little contest. He'll have the free hit. Toward the circle. Brady with a fortuitous mistrap. Newton to Candido, nice little quick one. I think Brady might have just been a little bit too enthusiastic with that challenge, in a short corner, blown for the infringement just outside the circle. This is Bry's first short corner of the match, coming with 8 minutes gone in the second half. And look, they've only had one serious opportunity in front of goal so far, a shot that was put just wide. This is their second. Let's see what they have.
Good to see Paul Newton getting his hands on the ball as well now. He's another key player in their midfield. Watch out for Al Charlton. Good strike, but just wide.
Retford, Wilson Jones, 45 to Alex Jones through the middle, around Newton. Wants the inside out, and he gets it to Brady somehow. Brady versus Candido, and Brady's reverse stick strike just into the side of the box.
Alex Jones in the midfield, keep him quiet, and it's dangerous when Lee Brady gets the ball up the front in the circle area, noted goal scorer.
Coombs just over the sideline. He's looking for Burke. Some of these Bry's errors, sort of signs of fatigue. They'll need to dig deep through the remaining 20 minutes of this match. Wilson Jones crosses the 25 and yeah, miscue. We'd love that one again.
Anyway, Locke, thanks very much for having me on. A special thanks to Luke Domro from C Sport for our live stream. The 4th year we've had our grand finals live stream, and we really appreciate Luke and all the efforts that you do to bring Masters hockey alive into people's living rooms. So I hope everyone enjoys the coverage. Please, if you can comment that you're watching and that you support anyone that any of your players or any of your teams, that'd be great. And tomorrow night we've got 2 more grand finals with the Masters and Senior Masters. So it's been a great season, 2002-05. So many thanks and enjoy the coverage, guys.
Thank you very much, Greg. Greg, of course, will be lining up in one of those grand finals tomorrow night, the Masters division. St George Randwick versus Sutherland at 7 p.m. So please join us then. And back in the seat now, Mark Matheson. Mark, you've been downstairs. What's the vibe like at pitch level?
Yeah, there's a lot of buzz down there. There's a pretty even balance of Ryde and Briar supporters, but they're definitely vocal, trying to cheer their team home. I've just noticed that Ryde seems to be bobbling a few balls now when they're trapping it. They're not as controlled as they were in the first half.
Nice by Coombs, looks for Turnbull, but Retford reads it and repels. More now. 45 ball into the centre. Maltman leaves it behind. Newton, nice tackle. Maltman with it again. Plenty of speed and plenty of room, using it. Griffiths toward the circle. He'll want it on the reverse. Took it a bit wide. Brady, Borg.
Good save, Borg.
Shaw, just wide of the net. Let's take another look at that one.
Yeah, geez, he had, as the ball's come across from Shaw at the top, he had a guy on the post and he just couldn't get us.
Yeah, that was Alistair Oakes, the man who opened the account for Ride Hunters Hill this evening, and I reckon since then there have been 2 or 3 just zip past his stick.
Yeah, look, he's putting himself in the right spots. You know, and he's getting some good ball. Billy Shaw's, well, he's obviously scored one, but he's delivering some great ball to his other strikers. Brady
puts it out in front of Oakes, and Oakes looking for his second, but Borg is in the way. Played that one nicely under all sorts of pressure.
Yeah, it's what I like about Borg. He's a pressure player, and he lived up to it there.
But look, sort of the theme of the evening. Bryce zips it up the other end, dispossesses, only to be dispossessed, and then Ryde have another crack at the other end. Maltman past Candido, challenged by Newton. Turns and pops it in blind.
It's a great ball out of defence there by Paul Newton.
Yep, Hallett was the receiver, and he gets his skates on for the 1-2. He has it toward the circle. He has plenty of time. Enters near the tee spot. Suri fumbles the trap, but did well to be there.
It could have been better just to take an easy option and try and put it on the foot there.
Viewer question, Matho. Any Queenslanders out there? Mitchell Ryan is wondering.
Yeah, Mitch is one of the Australian 35s contingent. And can't see many Queenslanders out there, Mitch.
Oh, Mitch, if you're heading to Newcastle in 10 days' time, you might cross paths with me in the New South Wales blue outfit.
Mitch will definitely be there. He's in the in the Queensland 35s.
Well, had a quick look at that team list a few days ago. Certainly some handy players in that lineup.
Yeah, look, as we'd expect, Queensland and New South Wales, or really across the age groups, they're strong teams this year, given that next year's a World Cup. And so these championships are obviously selection for the teams to go to the Netherlands. Yeah, both the Queensland and New South Wales teams are looking very strong.
Coombs v Jones. Coombs played it well. He'll get another opportunity. Through the middle. Dixon. Dixon v Brady. Toward the 25. But Brady showed patience and won it. Nice flat hit to Shaw. Good on the receive. Jones following it through. Over the 25. He'll go himself from here. Oh, no, he won't.
He was trying to feed Billy Shaw, who'd come racing up in the right channel.
Jones, Retford, toward the box. Durant's is in the, not Durant's, Wilson I should say, in the way. Bit of scrappiness there, but it's worked for Briars.
Seeing that comment from Mitch Ryan, it's obvious where our coverage is going far and wide. It's great to see some guys from Queensland tuning in and watching the Sydney Masters Grand Final. It shows that Greg's initiative to live stream these matches is paying dividends.
Bit of room now for Briars. Up the flank, Wilson in the way. That was Daniel Stout who got his skates on. Nice little bit of drive from him. Turnbull towards Dixon. Quick self-hit. Not sure where the spot was for that, but he's allowed to play it on. Burke wants to receive, and it's just seen wide of the net by Stephen Bryce. Hasn't had much to do. Don't think he's actually had to put pad to ball in this game, but he was required then and did it nicely.
You know, he's had a very quiet game compared to Andrew Borg at the other end, who's been very busy. And here's Briar's first penalty corner.
Was that?
Second penalty corner, beg your pardon.
Yeah, their second. The first one was well wide, stick side of the keeper. Borg on the strike.
Yeah, and there's a great comment. Nice to see that the Retford family is at home watching their dad play live stream. Great to have you all with us.
Well, made a bit of a mess of that one. It's with Candido toward the box, and again just wide. Yeah, relieving overhead there from Jones. Sort of York's Suri. One of those ones you need it a few yards fuller or a few yards shorter.
Yeah, you get caught in no man's land, don't you? And you can be made to look a right clown.
Clever spin. But Durant has to play it safe. All the way out to Stout. Up the flank. Gets through to Coombs, but it's Suri challenging. Gears now with, well, very lucky. I think it's Wilkinson there over it for Briars. Takes it quickly. Coombs straight in. Stout. Risky. Shaw wasn't really watching, but picked it off anyway. And now it's a foot race. Wilson versus Alistair Oakes. Alistair Oakes has the speed. Can he get round Borg? No. Step forward, read it nicely. And has another crack. Warren Oakes, that was, getting involved in that little challenge.
Just a little lazy tackle, hanging a stick out, which, with, what is it, 16 minutes to go, is probably to be expected. Fatigue setting in.
Good tackle, Wilson Jones. Long, sort of splits his teammates.
And there we go. We got another more supporters tuning in from the Coffs Coast. G'day to Dougie. Dougie's a mate of mine, good mate of mine. We've played together for some years for New South Wales. And the rest of the Coffs Sandpipers are up there enjoying some quality Masters hockey.
Retford, mistrap, and that is Charlton pulling one back for Briars, and gee whiz, it seemed no chance of that happening. But all of a sudden, it's 2-1, and it's firmly game on, Mark.
Geez, that was well taken by Al Charlton. The bounce of the ball, he didn't even try to control it. He's just pivoted and slammed it home. That was a very well taken goal by Charlie. But yeah, at 2-1, this is now we're back with a real contest with just under 9 minutes.
Yeah, certainly alive. Said in the pre-match that Briars, when they're underdogs in these situations, just have a habit of pinching goals against the flow of play, just getting them from nowhere. And that's why they've won 2 of the last 3. It's why they reached a prelim final last season, and it's why they're here now.
Yeah, Jonesy just got caught shielding there as he's moving right to left.
Yeah, I usually say about those, I mean, the player's allowed to make a 4-stick drag, but on that occasion, 100% a shield.
Yeah, absolutely. He definitely denied the defender access to the ball. Little bit of argy-bargy out there.
Just, Coombs, wow, got that off the edge, didn't he?
That wouldn't have even got over my head.
Newton. Retford, not sure why he's in that part of the ground, but he is. Options toward the circle for Briars. Clever by Dixon.
That was very well done, wasn't it?
Sort of turned himself inside out, didn't he? Jones.
Although again, rides off.
It's Brady versus Durrance.
These two know each other very well, obviously having played many years together.
Well, I could have sworn that was off the shin pad of Durrance, but we play on. Coombs. Bit dangerous there, I don't know. Just some scrappiness creeping in for both sides. And umpire David Coles just pouring some cold water on it. Again, well played deep there by Ben Wilson-Jones. Did well to just outfox the goal scorer. Andrew Borg remains parked deep.
I guess the question we ask now is, with 6 to go and 2-1 down, do Briars pull their keeper?
Well, we saw it twice. Yeah, that's a little message there from Callan Chick. Callan, hope you're well. Callan, of course, played in this match for Ryde last season. Unfortunately, not able to take the field for them today. Maltman on the 45. Griffith got a feather on that, but Borg was in the way. Caton, mistrap. Wilkinson. Bit of speed. Can he get it to Borg? He can, but Wilson Jones asserts himself. Play on is the call. Newton. Jones mistraps into his body. Apologies, I called Charlton at Borg there. My error. And just a bit of panic setting in for the Right Hunters Hill defence, and a bit of wind in the sails of Briars at the moment. With 5 minutes to go, it's 2-1. Game firmly up for grabs, Matho.
Absolutely. And if Briars can put this away, they'll definitely be coming home hard.
Well, it's into the net. Decision will be, is it up off a Right Hunters Hill stick, or was it up off the striker, Charlton?
Oh, goal given. So it must have deflected up off the right stick. What does the replay show us?
Well, I couldn't tell in real time, Matho, but I'd suggest by the reactions of both playing groups that that is absolutely the correct call.
Based on body language, I'd agree with you, yes. And with 2-2, Ryde look a little flustered. Some of their key players are getting just a little mouthy, and they just look a little flustered.
Coombs, Charlton, Wilson Jones read it nicely. Wants Shaw, but no, had a little more belief in Shaw's speed than Shaw had in his own.
You've, of course, played with a few of these guys over the years, so you know some of these guys very well.
Look, I can tell you it's certainly hurt the way they ended last year's grand final, going down in the shootouts of Barbarians. Certainly steeled themselves for this moment again, but they are looking a bit shaky. Briars, on the other hand, they are up and about and can smell an upset. Jones, clever to Bessenvale. Onto the foot, follows it up, and that's Right Hunters Hill's first short corner of the half.
Wow. Okay. I would have thought that they would have earned a few more than that, but with the weapons they've got, this is a golden opportunity for them to take back the lead and come home with 3 minutes to go.
Suri to inject, Brady to trap. Billy Shaw at the strike position. Alex Jones lay off left. Nick Candido first runner for Briars. Shaw, Candido makes it. Does that very well. Super moment there for Nick Candido. Did the job expertly for his Briars club. And it's with Allsop. Allsop versus Wilson Jones. Gets around, collects. Bit loose there. Has Coombs in support.
Oh, the goal! Darren Allsop has just scored an absolute cracker under pressure in the grand final with that drive, and has slammed. It looked like it took a deflection off one of the Ryde players.
Yeah, it did. But, well, inside the final 2 minutes, Briars, oh, wow, it was, they were a painful watch at stages through that first half, Matho, but they've pulled it together when it matters most. And here's that man again.
And here's Allsop again. Oh, El Charlton had hung back, expecting the ball to come back to him at the top of the circle.
I'll just say as well about that Allsop goal, well, it was Candido who set it up, running down the drag flick at the other end, and it was his brother-in-law who converted off the back of that sequence.
Yeah, absolutely.
So a nice little moment for the Candidos and Allsops there. Into the final 60 seconds. Durant plays that, well, I was going to say well, but he lived dangerously. Infringement there by Brady.
Briars doing the smart thing, just slowing down the hits, and controlling the ball, controlling the game as best they can. Whoop.
Oakes, bit of a hack, gets to shore. 30 seconds on the clock. Feathers the stick of Moulton, and it's over the sideline. And Shane Burke just slowing things up.
I'd expect a long bomb here to get the ball out.
Coombs. Well, it's going to be Charlton versus Bryce. Bryce played it well, desperately needed a teammate dropping back, and that is going to close it. It's in Briars 4:25. We're in the final seconds, and Briars are premiers in the Premier League Masters Division for 2025. They've taken 3 from the last 4 years, and they've come home from 4th on the ladder.
That is an outstanding last 15 minutes from Briars to come back from 2-0 down and score 3 goals to steal it. Congratulations to Briars. They've finished with a great season. Condolences to Ryde, who have obviously led the charge for most of the season, but just couldn't put it together in the last 15 minutes.
Yeah, and it looked like they had everything under control. Yeah, I don't mind repeating it. It was a difficult watch for some of Briars' play through the majority of this match. It simply was. They obviously put together a bit of a plan at half-time. They did come out slightly better after the break, and you know, sometimes you just need to give an experienced team a sniff and they take it away from you.
I think one of the strategic moves I was most impressed with was the fact that Briars put Al Charlton, a central defender, up front. And it paid dividends by him scoring the first goal, and really that momentum shift on that goal was what got Briars going.
Yeah, it was. I mean, it was that sort of very much against the run of play, the one-timer from a round about the penalty spot. He then nailed a short corner with an upright hit.
Yes.
And then it was a coast-to-coast, defending a short corner at one end all the way out to Darren Alsop, who collected it, must have been near the halfway, and just took it right, took it left. At different stages you thought he'd lost control, but yeah, pursued by, 3 or 4 Ryde defenders, and in the end just nailed it.
Yep, they just gave him a little too much space at the top of the circle, and he managed to get in there and slam one home with Stephen Bryce coming out to try and shut it down, but couldn't quite shut the angle down enough.
Yeah, well, it's been a super season of Premier League Masters hockey out here at Sydney Olympic Park and run by the Sydney Masters Hockey Association. There's your score. Briars 3 have defeated Ryde Hunters Hill 2 for the 2025 Premier League Masters Premiership. Join us again. We have the Sydney Cup Grand Final. That match starts at 8:30, but join us at 20 past for the pre-match. It's Sydney Uni taking on UTS. Join us then. Hello and welcome back to Sydney Olympic Park. Well, we've just come off a barnstorming Premier League Masters Grand Final. Bryce, I should say, in the dying stages, nabbing a 3-2 win over Ryde. And if that's a sign of anything to come, well, we are in for some real excitement. It's Sydney Uni and UTS playing off for the Sydney Cup. I'm Lachlan Morley, and with us again, Mark Matheson. Matho, have you caught your breath?
Well, yeah, it's a bit like that, wasn't it? That was a great finish to a Masters hockey match. Bryce coming home strong. I've just been talking to a couple of the Bryce players. They're obviously delighted, and like you and I commented during the commentary, that goal by Al Charlton was the momentum change that they needed. But we're now turning our attention to the Sydney Cup, Sydney Uni v UTS, and again I think this could be another high quality match.
Yeah, I dare say so.
I mean, there's a lot of New South Wales and Australian representatives out there again in this match. I'm just looking through the Sydney Uni roster, and there's a lot of players I'm very familiar with as an ex-Sydney Uni player, so I played many years with a number of these guys. And UTS, again, another team that's got some quality players, and looking forward to a great match. Sydney Uni, people to watch out for at the moment. Have a look for someone like Darren Marjoram. He'll probably play up front. Adam Herford will control everything at the back. Jason Folkes, known to many of us as Tugger, will be sitting in their midfield. And along with Michael Wallace and Peter Milne, they've got a very good, stable side coming into this match.
Yeah, they absolutely do, and they have been the dominant side in the competition this year. And we'll just flick over to the UTS team list. Matho, talk us through this one as well.
Yeah, look, the UTS again is blessed with some quality there, led by Greg Johnson, a long-time New South Wales and Australian player. Adrian Jones will sit in their midfield and add some great strength and distribution there. And then we're starting to look at Warwick Karp up front and Jagat Singh and Sawinder Singh through their midfield. Again, I think these two, although Sydney Uni did come out on top during the preliminaries, I don't see there being much between these two sides.
Yeah, well, they have had some tight matches this season. They've met 3 times. In round 1, it was Sydney Uni 3-2. Round 6, it was Sydney Uni 4-3. And in round 12, it was Sydney Uni 4-3. So, yeah, not a great deal separating these two outfits, although it is Sydney Uni who've managed to get it done on each occasion. UTS, they were here this time last year, had a fairly convincing and dominant win over Hunters Hill in the Sydney Cup. So they're shooting for back-to-back. They know how to get the job done, and it's Sydney Uni's first visit to a grand final in Masters hockey in a little while.
2023.
Yes.
They won it in 2023, but then struggled last year. So it's nice to see them back in the grand final as they line up for a team photo.
It's umpires Kyle Hammond and Mark Wegerhoff out there, and it is Robbie Sutton stepping into the technical official position for this clash.
All the formalities look like they're done. A quick handshake, and we'll be ready for the pushback and what we hope to be another high-quality grand final.
Keep your comments coming at home. Tell us who you're supporting. give some individuals a shout out if you want. We'll happily throw them up on the feed, and we're very much appreciative that you're all along for the ride in what is grand final week for the Sydney Masters Hockey Association.
What I'm impressed with Sydney Uni and even Masters Hockey is Sydney Uni boasts, I'm just looking through their list, at least 2, if not 3, players who come in each week from Orange to play. You know, it's a 3-hour trek to come in and play Masters Hockey and Sydney Masters. So their dedication to the game is fantastic and is appreciated, I'm sure, by everyone.
Well, we're underway. It's UTS with the ball first. It's UTS in the, I don't know, aqua and white, and Sydney Uni in the predominantly blue with a dash of yellow.
Yeah, and UTS just got an early touch finder there just to get things underway.
Bit of room and time at the back for Sydney Uni. Up the flank, looks like Darren Pike with the ball. Turns toward the top of the circle.
Darren Pike's another one of those players that if he gets the ball inside the circle, he's going to be dangerous. He has a habit of sneaking into little spots.
Sydney Uni looking to assert some pressure early. Only a couple of minutes in, certainly the more energetic side. And
there's a goal. That's a beautiful ball fed in by Jason Folkes, and I'm pretty sure that's Simon Greville that's got on the end of that.
Well, let's see on the replay. Yeah, I think you might be right. Looks like Greville who pounced on that one. And, well, with under 2 minutes gone, Sydney Uni 1, lead at UTS 0.
Well, that's a great way to start for Sydney Uni. Yeah, look, Sydney Uni have definitely settled into their work quicker and better than UTS have at the moment.
Certainly right. Van Es there, just over the sideline. Again, Sydney Uni enjoying the space on the transfer. Happy to rock and roll. Sort of up the guts there. Eimer pinched it, dished it off to Singh, who goes back through the middle, and Eimer with the opportunity.
Ooh.
Warwick Carp, I should say. Apologies. Tell you what, that's just about a penalty stroke.
I actually thought he might have just been a little early on the whistle. If he let that go, they might have been able to nudge that in, but.
In contrast to styles, still very, very early in this match, but a bit more finesse and possession from Sydney Uni, a bit more muscle and power from UTS.
Yeah, absolutely. The two different styles of play. UTS setting up with a battery at the top. They've got Adrian Jones to the left for a slip if they need it.
First short corner of the match. Not quite what they wanted, and it's Singh with the hit. Lifted. It's above backboard height, and umpire Wiegerhoff says free hit Sydney Uni.
just slow it down, control there. Control the play again.
Clever by Forks. Sydney Uni advance. Forcing a 2-on-1 up the line. UTS defence held up well there.
Yeah, a lot of these UTS guys have obviously played together for a long while, so they're pretty comfortable with the way each other's play, so that they should defend very well.
Yeah, nicely done by Adrian Jones. Greg Johnson, captain. Nice little triangle play. That was Jajit Singh just stepping forward. Johnson through. Milne cleans up. Milne winning that little contest. Peters. First overhead of the game. It's through against the keeper, and it's wide of the net. Oh, I tell you what, Bernie Payne not going to get many better opportunities than that, Mark.
No, he squandered that one. He'd done everything right, got himself in a good spot, controlled the overhead, which was perfectly placed from Mick Peters, drew the keeper and just flicked it wide.
That's Chadha delivering that one. Don't mind the long ball straight up the flanks. If you're going to turn it over, you might as well put it out as well.
Yeah, but again, it does give Sydney Uni an opportunity to defend because they're able to just clear it over the sideline and then set and get their defence set again.
Bit of width. Peters. Clever. Missed trap through midfield. Not sure if you saw the man, but it worked. That was Darren Pike. I don't think even Pike was expecting it.
No, I think that came as a surprise to both players there.
Bernie Payne. Just across the circle, looking for a deflection. Forks, Clever, Milne. Well defended, UTS. Quick hit out of defence. That's Salwinder Singh. Left then right, played it well and through. Clever, but missed trap from Jones. Sydney Uni look to repel. Peters, clever dump. Pearson Peters, 1-2. Bit of room for Peters.
Oh, there we go. Look at that, Lachlan. We've got someone tuning in from Portugal for this one. I'm going to guess that's one of the guys that's been overseas for the European Masters, enjoying a bit of a holiday, but still taking the time to watch his mates run around here in Sydney.
Back through the centre. High risk turnover picked off by Van Ness, but is dispossessed. Milne. Nicely done. Pierce all the way back. Sydney Uni just rocking and rolling around the back. Sort of a defensive 3 at the moment, running a few more through the midfield.
It was a good ball forward, but UTS read the danger and just picked that off.
Yeah, Fo Forthy with his first touch of the game.
You can see Sydney Uni are in no hurry. They're being very patient, playing the ball left to right. Transfers.
Singh, clever ball. Jajit Singh to Savinder Singh there. Yeah, UTS far more reliance on the counter-attack than possession. They're willing to just pull the trigger if they see a player high and loose. Out of reach of Pierce, sideline ball, UTS. I should just say we do have a reliance on the clubs to provide us the right names and numbers. We are missing a handful from the Sydney Uni side. So if we're not calling certain names, well, there's not much we can do. Little challenge there between Jones and Fawkes. Both players played it well.
Yeah, Adrian Jones is pushing himself forward. I notice he seems to be playing quite high. As the two clash there.
Yeah, I think Fawkes is probably lucky not to be sat down for that. It was needlessly physical.
Oof. Yeah, I mean he's a strong player and uses his body well to control the game and the ball, but sometimes it can work against him. He was lucky that wasn't one of them. Ooh.
Yeah.
Lifted ball there, and UTS earns the free hit as a result.
Yeah, Milne just putting it straight into the chest of Ima. Singh now. Clever, deceptive, passes the post. Long corner, UTS. Well, floodgates opened early at the other end for Sydney Uni, but UTS have pulled this back onto even terms in all bar the scoreboard, Matho. In fact, they've probably been the dominant side for most of this first half.
They're actually starting to dominate, but Sydney Uni are unlucky that they didn't trap that. Otherwise, I suspect there was going to be another opportunity for them. Yeah, look, UTS have settled down the way I see it, and they're controlling the ball much better than they did in the early few minutes of the game. Although they still really haven't had a good shot on goal.
No.
Whereas Sydney Uni obviously have had, scored one and squandered a couple of others. So fairly evenly balanced, I think, at the moment.
Up the flank now. That's Simon Gravel, the goal scorer, but puts it into a sea of UTS shirts. Singh to Singh. Oh, just looking to turn his opponent inside out.
Oh, there we go. I said there was at least two. There's apparently 4 Orange players out there. So thanks to those, Peter Milne, David Wynn, Adam Herford and Darren Marjoram for trekking in from Orange each week, and they're playing in a Sydney Masters Grand Final. Well done to all of them.
Yeah, it's certainly passion and commitment, isn't it, Matho?
Yeah, look, I played with Darren for many years, and he loves his hockey. Does great things for hockey out in Orange, and is now plays in Sydney as well. So their commitment to our game is a credit to them.
Well, UTS on the rebound. Toward the circle. Looked to dump it to Sawinda Singh, but just out of his reach. And now it's Sydney Uni with the opportunity. Long. Bit of run and gun from them. And, yep, no malice in that, but unfortunate collision.
Yeah, UTS are starting to soak up the Sydney Uni strikers, where in the first few minutes they didn't quite have that level of control. And we've settled into a 1-0 scoreline halfway through the first half. Seems to be a lot of passion for the some of the Sydney Uni players out there. And in particular, Orange. Thanks for tuning in out in Orange, guys. Hope you're enjoying the coverage.
Nice little contest there between Singh and Peters. Peters with room, collects, turns, goes long. Try that a few times, Sydney Uni. They've placed one man very, very high. On this occasion, it's Bernie Payne. But the UTS back unit just backing themselves in to cut off the line, and it's working so far.
It is, but then when they turn the ball around and start progressing upfield, they're not having the same success in getting it into the Sydney Uni circle.
Back and forth through the centre. It's worked out. Up the line.
That's a great ball up the line, and Sydney Uni. Oof, another one they've perhaps let go. Good shot from Sydney Uni there, but just went wide.
So I have a question from home. What is the Sydney Cup? It's effectively the second division under the Sydney Masters Hockey Association, with generally an age restriction of over 40 years of age. That's in comparison to the Premier League Masters, which preceded this, which you can enter as an over 34-year-old, and does attract some very good quality players at sometimes at the back end of their first grade careers even. But yeah, there is a firmer age restriction in the Sydney Cup, 40 plus.
40 plus, and there's still some very high quality players out there. Adrian Jones on the ball at the moment. Represented Australia in the over 50s earlier this year. So there's Greg Johnson has done that for many years. It's a high quality competition.
Sydney Uni now. Good pressure there by Singh. Clever. Tees up a teammate. I think that's Karp again.
Yeah, well defended, just shadowing him out near the sideline and diffusing the danger.
Singh hit and hope across. Finds a Sydney Uni stick. And Sonny Chadha gets a go toward the circle, finds Singh. UTS players appealing for the free hit, and they are awarded one by the disengaged umpire at the far end. Bit of razzle-dazzle. Not sure what the point was. And, pouncing on that one.
Stick check on as the ball came through, I think.
So more support for the orange cohort rolling in the comments. And Sydney Uni looking to go 2 up.
Well defended by UTS, and they've come out counter-attacked strong and fast.
Yeah, that was James Lucas in the net under all sorts of pressure. Is that man again, number 11 for Sydney Uni, but we don't have him on the team list. And yep, Sydney Uni have pinched the first short corner of the evening, just rolling onto the foot of Gil Dalajit Singh. Did what he could, but yeah, just ping-ponging around there and off the goalkeeper's pads.
You can see Darren Pike, the Sydney Uni striker, expressing his disappointment and not being able to control that and make something of it, but I'm sure he'll take the penalty corner.
One battery for Sydney Uni, first short corner of the game. Slings it low. Great save by Lucas in the net, and it's well cleared by his postman to the right.
Yeah, he got down very quickly there to make a very good save.
Delicate, clever. There's a stick check found. That was Bernie Payne just putting it between the legs and to a teammate's advantage.
Yeah, look, that's just been a little period of sustained pressure from Sydney Uni. UTS probably just need to control this coming out and get some of their structure back.
Shutter, bit of space. Missed trap though. Sydney Uni another opportunity at the sideline between the halfway and 25. Series of one-time passes, well executed, playing with speed, overlap left. Hit in, Chatter's in the way, challenges, and well done, Sundeep Sonny Chatter.
Yeah, Sonny Chatter did very well there. I thought he'd been beaten, but he recovered well and defended extremely well on that under pressure. Greg Johnson has just cleared that upfield to relieve some pressure, but Sydney Uni setting up now, moving right to left and looking to control again their movement with the ball out of the back. Dispossessed by UTS, and it's back under their control.
Well played there by Jones, just asserting himself and lifted up into him. Clever ball with Singh, has a bit of room. That's a bit of a... Well, I don't mind the endeavour and the ambition.
No, I like that. Just a little more optimistic, I think, than what it needed. That's a great ball out by Adam Herford.
Yeah, that's Turner. Straight toward the circle. Seems to be their default option, Sydney Uni. They're happy to just hit and back themselves to get some power on the ball. Singh. Clever.
1, 2, 3 spins.
He knew we loved it so much the first time. He showed it to us again.
Now Sonny Chowder's hit Adrian Jones. He's also found another of his teammates. This is some great enterprising play by UTS.
Well, we're approaching 5 minutes to go in this first half. Sydney Uni 1 lead UTS 0 in this Sydney Cup Grand Final. It was Sydney Uni captain Simon Gravel who overlapped and got a deflection into the backboard inside the first 2 minutes of this game. UTS though, they're up for the scraps certainly.
Yeah, look, defensively UTS are soaking up a lot of Sydney Uni pressure, but they're just not quite able to connect with their key players inside the circle.
Nice little pick up there by Ima. He had options forward and options left. He chose the hardest one, and it'll be a sideline hit Sydney Uni. Back through the middle, 45 pass. Fawkes playing that well, and on to Pearce. Bit of an air swing, UTS ball.
Yeah, Dan Pearce will be disappointed in that. He had several teammates sitting and waiting for the cross and just couldn't quite affect it.
Greg Johnson has been a calming influence on his side, deep in defence. Sydney Uni, opportunity. Don't actually have 12 for Sydney Uni on our team list. Singh. Bit of room, and he has a bit of speed. Did well to avoid the Turner chase. Singh to Singh. 45 into the circle. And it's Darren Pike. Plays it safe and wide. Fawkes. Apologies, that's not Fawkes. Yeah, the call is he ran through me from the Sydney Uni player, but that's not how that works. Singh toward the baseline, puts it across, and
trapped it with his foot, not his stick.
Yeah, that was Amar Malik. Ooh, that's their best chance yet to level the scores.
Yeah, absolutely. That one should have been put away and gone into half-time 1-1, but Sydney Uni still maintains that slender lead.
On the transfer, and yeah, okay. Just missing the target.
Good evening, Mr. Gelgon. Thank you for your kind words.
Well, at least you're getting a mention on this stream, Matho, you know. That's circle ball. The way was Fawkes, but it'll be another UTS hit. It's back near the 25. Singh. And again, straight in. And first short corner for UTS coming inside the last 90 seconds of the first half. Sorry, second I should say.
Second, I think it is, yeah.
They did have the first of the match, and it was a miscued injection. Went to the striking player rather than the trap.
It did, and then he sent her a call. He just lifted it. So with what, 60 seconds to go, UTS has another opportunity to even things up going into half-time. Straight this time. Singh to the right, to Singh, and it's low, and
looking for another deflection from Jones. It's over his stick and over the baseline.
Yeah. Yes. Thank you, PJ. Comments from former Sydney Uni goalkeeper Paul John.
Well, that'll close out the first half. Sydney Uni 1 lead at UTS 0, courtesy of an opportunistic Simon Greville goal. Join us again in 5 minutes for the second. It should be a cracker. Well, you're back with us at Sydney Olympic Park. It's Sydney Masters Hockey Association Grand Final week, and you're watching our second and final clash of this evening. It's the Sydney Cup final, and Sydney Uni have a 1-0 lead over UTS. Mark Matheson, what are you liking?
Look, I like the fact that this game could go either way. Sydney Uni grabbed that one early, but haven't been able to increase their lead. UTS, well, late in that first half, they had a couple of opportunities and just couldn't bring it back to 1-1. So it seems like their 3 pool games, this isn't going to be a blowout. It's going to be a close one.
Well, we're underway in the second half. Well, that's for Sydney Uni's sake, hopefully not exciting things to come. Sorry, Jason Fawkes, that one's on camera. Peters, ball on the 45. Singh says no, I'll take that. Missed trap, but it's into the circle. Bit of danger. Singh follows it through, and yeah, just a little too much enthusiasm.
Yeah, look, Mick Peters has got a long wingspan. He was able to keep that out.
12 for Sydney Uni is Bernie Payne here from Banana. So thank you, Matt Wonder, for setting us right on that one. He's number 54 on the list given to us.
And Sydney Uni has just, again, had an opportunity. They just couldn't quite get their last pass right for a deflection.
So Bernie Payne is number 12. He's on our list as 54. So we'll make that little correction. Your mate again,
yeah,
PJ.
there's PJ. He's moved out of Sydney up to the beautiful Nelson Bay and tuning in to watch Sydney Uni take on UTS. And support for UTS rolling in as well. Great to see all the supporters for both sides watching the live stream.
Clever from Jajit Singh. Play that nicely. It's back to Shada. Ima. He's through, but it's a turnover. Fights for it. He's up for the contest. Milne through.
Oh, a shot at goal that just needed a deflection from Pike. Sydney Uni stringing a few passes there and getting on goal.
UTS now with an opportunity. It's Karp, straight across. Is it going to get to his teammate? It does get to Jones, chips it. David Wynn says no.
Sydney Uni have just scrambled that clear. Leaving that cross ball was slightly more adventurous than I would have expected.
Jones, short to Singh, toward the corner, shows his skills. Long corner, UTS. They want to build some pressure. They want to park the ball up this end for a little while. They'll certainly be keen for some results inside the circle. They haven't had a firm shot between the posts for a while now. But they're willing to fight through the midfield. Did that really well. Singh. 45 in, and yes!
Great goal.
It's Warwick Karp. He's looked most threatening for UTS all evening, and he pounces. Look at this. Accurate on the 45, but gee whiz, it was bobbling. And He was asked to do a lot there, Warwick Carp, but he did.
But he's run in from outside right post, got a beautiful deflection. And the keeper could do nothing about that. So we've 1-1.
Well, that may light a fire under this match. Sydney Uni carrying up the other end nice and quick. Jones, though, in the way, just escorts it over the back line.
There was some nice build-up from Sydney Uni down the right flank.
And again, Jones just says no. Michael Peters. Over it for Sydney Uni. And crossfield overhead. Trapped by Greville. Into the circle. He'll want a result, but he's not getting it. Chadha played that one really well. And it's spilled to a teammate. That's Savinder Singh. He has some speed, but it's basically 2-on-4.
Simon Grendel's trucked back very well there to diffuse that.
Another long one into the circle. Peter Milne repels, but only back as far as Jajit Singh.
An impassioned plea from one of the UTS players as he hit the turf, but umpire was having none of it.
Clever from Jacinda Singh. Jones, self-hit, carries it toward the circle, and yeah, he's drawn a bit of a heavy challenge. He's hit the deck, and UTS have the first short corner of the half.
Yeah, he started to carry that ball, and Simon Greville came in very hard on the reverse.
Played that one quite professionally, did Jones. There's actually no space, no teammates over that side of the field. He pretty much just ran it into open space and said, well, defenders, come at me here. And it's just a little too heavy. Protected it nicely with his body. And it'll be that man Jones to inject. Greg Johnson, the skipper, trapping, and it's the goal scorer, Warwick Carp, in the strike position. Carp lays it off. Well, he was going for the 1-2, the variation there with Ima, but just was not to be. Well read by the Sydney Uni defence, and they'll exit quickly through Adam Herford. So we're getting through that 95 for Sydney Uni as Ian Lowe. Thank you to our viewers making those contributions. That was PJ again. Milne.
A lot of support from the Mason family for Sydney Uni, and a great drive, but just unable to get that one down and on goal.
Yeah, well and truly got onto that one. Out to Sonny Chadha. Bit of room. Well, did his best to lose it, but wins it back. Only as far as Fawkes. And Fawkes goes back down that left flank. Jones with the pressure.
And good pressure earns the free hit from the sideline.
Singh getting the skates on. Singh and Carp both pursuing that one. And I said a moment ago, that goal could light a fire under the game. It's actually elevated both sides' energy.
Yeah, there's definitely some more tempo from both teams. And you can see now that UTS are pressing as Sydney Uni comes out. They don't have the same time that they did earlier.
Nicely read, Jones pounces on that, carries it all the way through. It's Carp again, but David Wynn, having none of it, asserts himself and repels.
Yeah, well read by David Wynn to diffuse that.
Ima. Ambitious, but, whoa. It's ambitious but worthwhile. As long as he got some heat on that pass, if it goes over the sideline, well, you're not vulnerable to the counter.
And I think had it been flat, Adrian Jones would have gobbled that up and been pushing forward.
Ima for UTS. Johnson all the way out and around. It's Farithi now. Bit of room. Farithi then, I should just say. Clever. Jones seeing. Quick turn. Wants the free hit.
Yeah, and so he should have.
See what that little Jajit Singh Warwick Carp combo. Looking dangerous.
Yeah, and I mean, Warwick Carp had rolled out well, but it was just a little too far in front of him. He couldn't get control.
Yeah. A handful of the UTS players really stepping it up in this second half. Space for Sydney Uni out left. Greville on the overlap. Bit of a hit and hope toward the circle. Get another opportunity. Carp read that one nicely.
Yeah, look, that's great work from a striker to work back to get in the way of that. He's been doing a lot of good work up front and then comes back and does some good defence.
Farithi, short ball, Ima. Clever. Well, clever control, not clever passing. And Sydney Uni can rebound and have an overlap left. Peters.
Nice ball from Mick Peters there to drop that in the corner. Sydney Uni just can't find anyone in the circle. And UTS come away, but again, throw it away. And Sydney Uni will bring this back. Strong. Adrian Jones, solid in his defence. There's a great overhead butt. And one of the UTS players got a little aggressive with his tackle and has earned himself a green card, 2 minutes in the naughty chair.
Yeah, I don't mind his chase. I see what he was sort of trying to do, kind of trying to draw the obstruction, but you still can't be making that kind of heavy contact with an opponent.
Yeah, it didn't help that he had his stick raised as well. So the umpires these days are quite hard on that to try and minimise potential head injuries.
Peters. Yeah, Ashgar Chaudhry, we were just begging for an umpire intervention,
yep.
And probably lucky only to get a green, to be honest.
Yeah, I think he's probably lucky to only get a green there.
And certainly not what his team needed when they're already a man down.
No, this next 90 seconds when they've only got 9 players on the field will be a challenge. And Sydney Uni need to step up their pace and try and take advantage. Great deflection and good keeping there, but Sydney Uni just can't put it away, but earn a penalty corner anyway. G'day, Scott Pearce. Nice to see you tuning in from England, supporting your little brother Dan.
Well, in a perverse way for UTS, conceding a short corner allows them to soak up a good 40 seconds of time as two men down.
It does. A little bit of gamesmanship there to make sure they used all that 40 seconds as well, I'm sure.
Great save, bit of an air swing. That was James Lucas doing the job in the net for UTS, and they'll be in no rush to get this moving. It's already been 70 or 80 seconds.
It has. I mean, Lucas has made some good saves in this game and definitely kept his side in it a couple of times.
Jones, Chowder, Jones again. In no hurry, plays it safe up the line, and well, they've seen their teammates ill-disciplined and thought, we'll show you how it's done.
Yep, well, they've got to step up. I'm just watching now to see. There's the first of the UTS guys back on. Dennis Van Ness.
Savinder Singh, fresh off a bit of a rest, and
just a little deflection from Sydney Uni tonight in there.
And he is looking dangerous. If any of these passes are just a yard or two the other way, he could well find himself out the back and into the circle. Van Ness, long corner.
Into the last quarter of the match, and I wouldn't like to try and predict a winner at the moment. These two sides are both playing well and have opportunities to score.
Yeah, good little defensive effort there from Peter Milne. Had to win that one-on-one with Farithi. Herford, Fawkes, Milne, keeps it wide. Dalajit Singh steps out. He's in the way, engages. Sydney Uni through to the circle. They'll get another chance. Fawkes, delicate to Milne. Singer's in the way. Milne wanted the quick self-hit, but umpire Wigoff says no, back over there where the incident happened. Fawkes, out a bit.
Oh, just a mistrap denied Sydney Uni there.
So we've had the elder brother of Dan Pearce for Sydney Uni check in, and now we have his daughter watching from Milinjimbi in the territory. So hello to you, Hannah. Thanks for having you along for the evening.
Yeah, it's one of the things I like about Masters hockey is the family involvement.
Milne versus Singh. Milne wins it. Quick self-hit toward the circle.
That's,
yeah.
Yep. Penalty corner. Yep.
Yeah, agreed. Bit of a heavy stick check, that one, and yeah, Peter Milne's creating a bit of chaos with some speed across the top of the circle.
He was, and if you can move in that right to left, you can create some havoc. Just over 10 to go. Sydney Uni with a penalty corner. Adam Herford's come up into the battery. And incredibly well saved by the postie there from the Herford drag flick.
Yeah, Gil Dalajit Singh, that is. Tell you what, he's very unlikely to score this evening, but that is the next best thing.
Absolutely.
Fruthi stepping out there. Nice little contest. Full recycle, back near halfway for Sydney Uni. Toward the circle. Fawkes just pummeling his way through. Self-hit. And
ooh, yep, and yeah, penalty corner.
I think what he's saying though, he sort of did do it toward the baseline, but my instinct was it took a Sydney Uni stick on the way through.
I didn't think it did, and I didn't think he'd pivoted enough for it to be able to say it was going towards the sideline.
Yeah, I suspect you're right, Matt, though.
But obviously Mark Vegerhoff's a lot closer than we are.
Oh, well, Dalajit Singh did the business on the last short corner on the post for UTS. So he's probably full of confidence and backing himself to do it again.
Needs to do it again, and Sydney Uni have got a variation. And another penalty corner.
I think that might have taken a UTS foot at some point in there.
Yeah, I think Sydney Uni are just trying to, as you say, taking Gil Singh out of play by trying a variation there.
Variation again, upright hit. And very well saved again by James Lucas. He's putting in some sorts of performance. Singh, clever, can't keep it in, but he'll retain possession for his team. That's Jatinder Singh playing that one nicely. Jajit now with his... well, I endorse him continuing to try that. It's pretty cool, frankly, when it happens.
It is.
UTS sort of just need to find that groove they were in the early part of this second half. They were very much dominating the play until they earned those 2 green cards. Sydney Uni all of a sudden turning the screws a little.
Yeah, but again, the UTS defence soaking up the pressure and denying Sydney Uni.
We were told in the comments a moment ago that it's Bernie Payne at number 12. He was that man infringed against. It's Fawkes. Milne on the overlap. Enters near the T spot. Toward the penalty spot, but just puts it between all of his teammates.
Missed everyone. Yep. Nice passage of play with that ball movement. Go hubby. Dalajit. Great to see the support rolling in on the live feed.
And all right, we're actually not back with play. Singh. Singh toward the circle. Jajit Singh played it nicely, wanted a short, wasn't going to get it.
Well defended by Adam Herford, held his ground.
Not sure if we're going to get that. Great save, Jimmy. Come on, UTS, fire up. You got this. Yes, great saves indeed in the net from James Lucas. And you might have seen on the screen a moment ago, Simon Pearce, elder brother of Dan Pearce, sending a message Dan Pearce's daughter Hannah's way. There we go. I mean, we're not normally a message carrying service, but we'll do it for the fans of Sydney Masters Hockey.
And Simon Greville has just missed a gift in the right spot. Just couldn't get a stick on it after great ball movement down the left. Five minutes to go, 1-1. Cracker finish ahead, I suspect. Big dog Herf with the support from some of his mates.
Jones, bit of a touch finder, but it's sort of what his team needed in that situation. I mean, if I was UTS, I'd be just dropping the hammer and going for it at the moment. I'd be getting a very aggressive press happening and just forcing the issue.
Look, yes, I agree. I think they should as well. I'd personally probably be trying to push Adrian Jones forward a little bit if they could. He seems to be playing quite defensive. I'd like to see him in a more attacking mindset.
Good job by Jatinder Singh.
Which is exactly where he is now, but just couldn't get stick on the ball.
Peter Milne beats one, beats two, heads towards Chada, but Chada does the job. Ruled advantage. Hit and hope, dangerous, and I'll tell you what, Sundeep Chada.
Yep.
Had to meet the moment, and he did.
He did. He had to step up there. Sonny's been playing hockey for a lot of years, and he assessed the danger and got there, and diffused it very well.
Jones. Another long one on the... Oh, sorry. Jones receiving at that time. That was Johnson.
It's Greg Johnson.
Minor collision. Sydney Uni ball. 3 minutes to go. It's 1 goal each. Dan Pearce. Drops it out to Payne. Forks. Alex Jones steps out. He's got room if he wants to self-hit. Singh making way for him. Looks to dab it through.
Justin Folks did very well there to hold himself out and not infringe.
Johnson pounces on it. Singh to the right. That was Dalajit up the line to Jones. Infringed by Pearce. Jones carries. Pearce. Well, inside 2 minutes to go. We have another grandstand finish on our hands. Singh, angled, it's in.
No.
Tell you what, my instinct was it was lifted off the Sydney Uni defender into Malik. That's what Malik's saying, but he's better off turning and chasing at this stage than forcing that point. Greville up the line. Peruthi gets it, sends it sideline way.
So with just over a minute to go, Sydney Uni attacking. They really need to make something of this.
Singh did that one well. Fruthi now spins, plays it strong, but then a little ball in the reverse goes nowhere. Another spin from Singh. Ima plays it tough, plays it low. Singh on the deck. Malik with a bit of a twist and turn. Free hit near the sideline for UTS. Will they run the gauntlet or will they play it safe? They're running the gauntlet.
That's a great ball.
Savinder Singh
just couldn't keep it in.
30 seconds left. Sydney Uni have, well, room left if they get it that way. Jatinder Singh. Good tackle, Pierce. Pierce v Singh. Singh wins it. Sydney Uni advantage anyway. Ima, inside 10 seconds. Malik, I don't know if he realises. Could he get around it anyway? Probably not.
No.
And that sees the end of regular time. It's 1 goal apiece in the Sydney Cup Grand Final. Sydney Uni and UTS. Well, both teams, look, shaking hands. Just active sportsmanship and well wishes.
Yep, absolutely. I mean, a good grand final, and we now head into a shootout to find the winner. I see the UTS Brains Trust down there of Sasha Overhoff and Eddie Gallagher, trying to see what they can come up with.
Yeah, I'm not really sure who this favours. Mark, I think both goalkeepers have done a great job. So, you know, barely a rice paper splitting those two tonight.
Yep.
And
yeah, look, I don't know here. I'll be interested to see the 5 that each team names. I'm sure Adrian Jones will be one for UTS.
Yeah, wouldn't be surprised if Jajit Singh is one of them.
Yep.
Warwick Karp, he spent a long time on the bench in that second half, and he doesn't appear to be super comfortable. He's walking just out of vision of the camera.
No, it looks like is he holding some ice there on his back?
Well, I expect he would have been on their short list.
I would have expected it too, but if he's injured, I'd say less likely.
And likely Sydney Uni players. Peter Milne, I reckon, near certainty.
Yep, Simon Greville.
Yep, Catman will put his hand up.
Jason Folks. Who else?
Michael Peters wouldn't surprise me. Bit of an outside-the-box one.
Yeah, possibly.
And
some support there for David Wynn. He's definitely in the hot seat, Matthew.
Well, it's best of 5 and then it's sudden death. Each attacking player gets 8 seconds, one-on-one with the goalkeeper. All usual infringements apply except for deliberate over the baseline.
Yes.
That is a win to the goalkeeper in this contest.
These are obviously a nerve-wracking time for everyone, and it's always interesting watching a goalkeeper. Some goalkeepers just like to be, chase everyone away and be left alone. Others like being pumped up by their teammates. And you look at David Wynn down there for Sydney Uni. He looks like he's one that's just keeping to himself and trying to get in the zone.
Yeah, plenty of support coming. Goalkeeper David Wynn's way for Sydney Uni.
There's some support the other way for James Lucas. All the officials getting together, telling the keepers how everything will work. I'm sure you've been through a couple of these, Lockie. You know what's going on down there at the moment.
Well, I think you were in this commentary position this time last year when we lost in shootouts in the Premier Division.
Yes, indeed, I was.
Oh, so you remembered that before you brought it up? Is that what you're telling me?
As a team manager, it's always interesting. There's nothing you can really do about it other than name your 5 and stand off to the side. But obviously, as a player, you've got, you know, control. Looking at the toss, it looks like UTS will be going first. Looks like David Wynn's getting ready to go into goal.
Yeah, it looks like UTS captain Greg Johnson. He's had a very good game, and he's put his hand up to lead the way in the shootout for his side.
Yeah, Greg's highly skilled. I expect him to have a good chance at bamboozling the keeper here, but and yeah, Warwick Carp doesn't look like he's put his hand up to be taking one.
Well, is it going to be the 2023 Premiers or the 2024 Premiers?
I'm not going to put my prediction out there. This is too close.
Captain Greg Johnson up first for UTS. Left, then right. And plays that one nicely.
Yep.
Let's take another look.
Yep, he drags left, then drags the keeper right. Just a stutter step to make the keeper stop and gets it in under his left arm. First goal, Greg Johnson for UTS. James Lucas heading into goal. And Bernie, was it Bernie Payne?
Well, we were told in the comments number
12 was Bernie Payne. Yep.
So, well, Sydney Uni looking to square it. Right, then left. And, yep, an infringement has been found against the striking player. And James Lucas wins the first. UTS, after each have had one, have a 1-goal advantage.
Yep. And Adrian Jones stepping up now. David Wynn wandering back into the box.
Jones gets to the circle quickly. Left, then right. Rolls around and just drops it into the corner of the box.
Yep, he did that very well, where he's dragged the keeper left and then wrong-footed him to go right, and then had the easiest of strolls to place it in the back of the net. Sydney Uni up again. Let's see if they can get one back.
all the way to the baseline almost, and back to the penalty spot.
2-1. He started off very slow. I thought he might have just been wasting a bit of time there, but he's ended up beating the keeper on his stick side. And 2-1 now to UTS.
Jajit Singh.
And that was Darren Marjoram by the look of it.
I think you might be right, Mark. So, Jajit Singh up now for UTS. Is he going to show us some of that razzle-dazzle he put on during the game in this situation?
I'd be surprised if he doesn't.
Jajit. Right, then left. Falls over the keeper, and, well, that's a penalty stroke. I reckon the ruling must have been the ball got through and tripped over the pads, and Jajit Singh does not have to be the man who takes the penalty stroke, but he's saying, yep, leave it with me.
Yep, and no one from the UTS side is suggesting it should be anything other, so.
Yeah, Jajit Singh along the carpet.
Yep.
And that makes it 3-1 in the shootout. UTS, 4-2 all up.
Yeah, just a bit of a stick feint and slammed that home into the bottom left corner. Well, this looks like the big dog Adam Herford stepping up.
Well, we fast running out of chances, Sydney Uni.
Yep, they need this one.
Herford. Right. And does it get through? No, it doesn't.
Denied. Denied. Tried to force it through, and James Lucas has stuck out a glove by the look of it and been able to just deflect that over the baseline. So 3 down, and it's 3-1 UTS. If they score this, my math says
it's good night.
It's good night.
Well, it's Gil Dalijit Singh. Gunid, hope you're still watching. Dalijit Singh taking the initiative for UTS. David Wynn in the net for Sydney Uni, looking to keep this alive. Dalijit Singh, right, left, into the pads. Gets another opportunity, and it's just wide.
It actually timed out before, but it did go wide anyway. You can see Gil's had a first shot, and then he's tried to tomahawk one, and it has slid wide, and he timed out as well.
Tell you what, David Wynn just said, boys, come on.
Yep, I'm doing my bit.
Need you to convert. And it's Peter Milne now. Surprised he didn't take one a little earlier, actually.
So, but we're now into sudden death for Sydney Uni.
Milne v Lucas.
And that's it. That's it, denied. Tried to slam one home. Put it wide to the right of the goal. And congratulations, UTS.
Yeah, UTS, the Sydney Cup champions for 2025 in the Sydney Masters Hockey Association. They've gone back to back and they've defeated Sydney Uni for the first time this season. This is their 4th encounter. They ran down a 1-goal deficit in that second half and, yeah, held on with a 2-man disadvantage for almost a full 2 minutes. They played that nicely. And, yep, when the pressure was fully on, it was UTS who did the job.
Yeah, look, they were much more clinical in the shootout to come away 3-1 winners. And the second half from UTS was solid. James Lucas kept them in the game several times in the box, in the cage. And then him and his shootout and his strikers have come away with a victory for UTS.
Yeah, very well-deserved win. Showed a lot of grit. showed a lot of toughness.
And the umpires there just signing off and everything, make sure all the paperwork's done right. They both had a very good game. Robbie Sutton as TO, thank you to all of them. We don't have a game without our officials.
Yes, absolutely right. And, well, that's our second of 2 clashes for tonight, but there's one more to go in this Sydney Masters Hockey Association Grand Final week. Join us tomorrow from 7 p.m. It's the Masters Division, St George Randwick playing Sutherland. And then again, 8:30 p.m, Senior Masters, Penrith and Manly GNS. Join us then. We'll be here along with the whole C Sport team. See you then.